Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for the 18th of October, starting with the DAX on the weekly chart here. So we've got this move down through here as an ABC correction, and I don't see a problem with that. I see this here as a five-wave structure, not a problem with that. It doesn't have to be wave one though, or wave two here. It could also be this wave four, maybe some more complicated correction. So it's possible that this could be an A wave here too and a B wave here as well. So I'm not quite sure about that, but that's the way that I've been playing it so far, and it seems to be panning out okay. But just to let you know that wave fours do get complicated, and I can't confirm if this is right here. This is five waves up here, so we should get another five waves up here. It's all been going quite smooth at this stage. We've got five waves in this little sequence, back for wave two that pulled back to the 61.8% roughly. And we're heading up here higher as well. So I think it's all okay. We just got to keep a bit of an eye on it. You know, it's not like we're in a trend and we know where we are within that trend, you know. So there is that there to be said. So from the weekly, we'll go to the daily and pick it up at wave two here. So here we've got wave one, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here for 1 and back for 2 here, nice and sharp as wave 2 should be. And then we've got this structure here as well. So this structure here is actually not finished just yet. We should see this pull back into some type of corrective move and then move up higher here. And let's go in and have a look at that on the 4-hour chart and pick it up from wave two here. So wave 1 and 2 here. So this particular structure here, we can count 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up to the third wave here. So we've got 1 and 2 in here, nice strong third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave here that we're looking at. So the 38.2% retracement level comes in, that's the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. So, and 38.2% retracement levels about there. So take that up there a little bit lower, but basically on this number here. So the 12,500 is the number that that we're looking at here. The other thing too is that just looking at the length of things. So this is, I mean, wave one looks really big, doesn't it? But when we put here and here, just to get the length of it roughly, so that's roughly the, whoops a daisy, that's roughly the length of wave one here. So when we put that here for low of wave two, that takes us up to this point, because we don't want to see wave three the smallest. I mean, sure, wave five, wave four, and then wave five up here could be smaller than wave three here. But I think it's just nice to keep an eye on this sort of thing, you know. So yeah. So this counts up here quite clearly as 1 and 2, and looking up at 3 here. So we're looking back for 4. I mean, otherwise we need to look at this when we've got a chart on our website with this too, which is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and a top in play here. But I won't go there just yet in this video, because I don't have any evidence of a, you know, a move that's not a wave 4 just yet. But this is where this market can come back to at this stage. So on the 1-hour chart here, where we keep our trades and so on, we've had a nice run up here. So we've been long here, we've taken part profit here, we've been moving our stop up under to this level here. Our target was at 12,800, so we've taken profit there, so we don't need that there now. So but this little pattern in here, this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and also the 38.2% retracement level comes in very close to the 12,500. So it's just a bit of a guide stick really. So what we'd be looking for here would be, say, 5 waves in the A wave. We don't have that yet. Then a B wave in here and 3 waves, and then 5 waves in the C wave here. So not that interested in trading wave 4 of this degree of structure. structure. There's no trend in that. I mean, there's obviously price movement, so choose your time frame and trade within that. But let's just go in and have a look at this here on the tick chart here. To bring in some more data, say a week would be plenty. So yeah, so from wave 4 here, we'd been counting up through here as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and looking for, didn't quite expect that strong move there, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish that off. So it's kind of interesting here. Let me just check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So at this stage, we can, I mean, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here just roughly, but that, yeah, I don't know. I mean, sorry, what I'm thinking of here, I'm thinking of the A wave. The A wave can be in 5 waves or 3 waves. Doesn't really make, I mean, there's about 11 or 12 different corrections, and that's always debatable between Elliotticians. But if the A wave is in 3 waves, then we're going to end up with the wave 4 correction as a flat or a triangle or a double zigzag or something like that. But if we get 5 waves down, then we'll get 5 waves in the C wave, and it'll be a simple ABC correction at that point. So it's possible to have this here. I just don't know yet. So as 1 here and 2 here. 3, might as well just do this here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I just don't know what we're going to get just yet. It's kind of interesting though, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see. Yeah, not quite sure. This could get a bit deeper than this. So I think we probably are looking at 3 waves down here. I mean, I could put that there, but I just don't, I mean, because I can get 5 waves here, but the trouble with that is that this move back up here overlaps this one here a little bit. Not that that's the end of the world or anything, but it just looks like this is down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, back for 4, down for 5. So this, well, I'll just
unless it's done. Really? Just holding up some plates.
Just count it like that then. So I'll just move that in here. I should need to go up 1 more move. Sorry. That's what wave 3 will look like, something like that, or wave C here. But I think we're still down here, so we'll look for wave 4 back here, wave 5 here. I mean, of course, if I'm totally wrong with this, then you want to be long above the 12,700 here as support here, so long above that. So we can go long above these highs here. Still a bit risky, so just do half a position because we're in that 4th wave and they just get ugly. That's the thing with them. But yeah, look, just see how, I mean, Friday is normally in the bullish weekly cycle. Friday and Monday are normally the bullish days, but if Friday doesn't look like it's going to be strong and starts to look weak, well, it doesn't mean that we're wrong. It just means that that we're in a bear market, not a bull market. Simple as that. I mean, it's too simple to sort of notice, but there you go. Yeah. Okay, the FTSE. The FTSE's really messy actually, because I've got it in a bit of a bearish pattern here with this. So in this case here, I've got a pretty clear sort of three-wave structure up here for wave 2 that's pulled up to the 61.8%. I suppose we could get 5 waves out of it if we went 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here, and then 4 here, and then 5 here. That's possible. But in this case here, just in a bit of a nutshell, we can now go long above this one here. At that point I would be wrong. Is this down for 1 here and back for 2 here? That's the other question here now. It's just that obviously this is in the opposite direction of the DAX, but this country's doing, is in for a bit of a shock, isn't it? So leaving the EU and so on, and I just don't mean having to buy their meat from the US and all those ugly, and fish and all those ugly things, but yeah, discounts quite reasonably down here as 5 waves. It does have overlapping wave structures, so technically we should call it corrective. We'll go and have a look at that here. I just wanted to point that out because that's different from the other markets, So what we did here, we counted up to here for the A wave, then the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave here. And we looked at this in the first instance being bullish in terms of an A and a B and a C to this particular point here. So we're waiting for wave 1 to come up and then pull back, and then would go long above this one here. But that never eventuated. It just sort of came down a little bit. But do we count that as 5 waves down, as 1 and 2 here and 3 here, an A and a B and a C for 4 and down for 5 here? It's got overlapping wave structures. It's across 72s it's a large number to me. It's very important. So, and this one here does appear to be corrective to the upside here. I'm sure you can count it in 5 waves too. The fact that it's moved back down sharply, yeah. So if we nailed this down a little bit further here, this is just ugly. I've looked at it on the cash market. I just don't get my head around it. Maybe I need to look at it on the F250 or even some stocks. I just don't have the time to do a lot of things. So in a nutshell, if the market moved above 7,210 and found support here, then that would put it in a bullish pattern from that point. So you could go long from that point there, right, up into that space here. It would have to sit on there as support, not just trading above it, So that's one thing on the long side here. If let's just humour me for a moment. If it was in line with the DAX and was going to move higher in that case, then we would need to look at this here as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave coming into this space here. So we would look for 5 waves down into here and then up from that point. I just don't really know. It's just always been messy, all of this. It's just getting my head around it, The fact that this looks impulsive down here should mean that we should see this in a corrective move back up to the 61.8% and then move down from that point there as well. Of course, the other count we've got is having wave 2 here. So I don't really know. I can't call a trade on it. But yeah, if it trades above this level here, we can go anything up in here. We can start to look to go long in that point. But also be careful about trading it short here. We know that in the short term that you could trade
unless it's done. Really? Just holding up some sites.
It short from that point there, but you may not get very far. So what we'll do is we'll just put, I'll just leave that there. No, it's not going to work. Let me just go to the tick chart here, check that out. So what do we call the high? That looks corrective down here. That looks corrective up there. So that needs a bit of work. I'll just check that on the cash market. That seems to be the high here. One, two, three, four, five for 1 and 2 and 3 here. This would be wave 4 here. So that's your 38.2% retracement level in here. So that's okay at that point. This looks corrective here as an A and a B and a C, so that's corrective. So an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here, maybe making another high here. But what I'm just trying to figure out here is that let's just assume that this needs a bit of work here, but let's just assume this is wave 1 and 2 here, and this is wave 3 here and 4 here. Then we're going to need wave 5 to come down on us here. So let's just, this needs work, but once we've got those 5 waves in here, we're still going to need some sort of correction back here again as well before we see any further downside. So yeah, I think we'll just sort of leave the short side for a little bit, because if this is 1 and 2 in here, or 1 and 2 in here and 3 here, and 4 here and 5 here, this wave here is not going to come down that far. So, and then we're going to get this ABC pattern. So we won't go short. Let's just leave it. I mean, let's just allow this to play out. If this moves down here, then if we get this as an ABC correction, then we can go short based on that, and we'll go short like if it comes, I have to draw over this side. So an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here, we can just draw that through here and look to go short on the breach of, on the retest of that. That's how it would play out. There we go short here. So we would need to wait for that to come into play here. You could short it here if you wanted to, but don't expect too much from it in that regard. Maybe down to the 71.50 area. Might get like, nah, it's too much support down here. So 71.50 would be the would be it here. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Alrighty, cheers.